What do you do when Santa Claus is kidnapped by Martians and it's almost Christmas? Find out on this week's episode of B-Movie Sunday. Hello everyone, my name is River and I'm the host of B-Movie Sunday. This week I reviewed the 1964 Christmas classic Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, directed by Nicholas Webster. Now, this movie is one that's been recommended to me multiple times, even before I started doing this show, and it's one that I've avoided because of the reviews that it's gotten. Now, I know you're thinking, what you do is review bad movies. You know, how bad of reviews could a movie have gotten that, you'd want to avoid? And this one had accomplished that in the past, so I just kept avoiding it. But then I decided for the month of December, I was going to do holiday movies, whether it was a Christmas one, which this one is technically not a Christmas movie, even though one of the main characters is Santa Claus. It's not based around Christmas, but I'll get more into that later. But I'm going to review different movies for the holidays that we celebrate in December. So I was like, why not? It's on Hulu for free. It's on Amazon Prime for free. I figured I would finally check it out, see what the big deal was. And I've got to say, I was not disappointed. This is a 1960s movie. It's filmed as such, so as far as special effects go, you really can't hold it against them that much. Now, I love seeing science fiction movies from different decades because of the way that they portray the aliens. In this case, Martians, of course, being from Mars, they are green people. And the main four characters, the mom Martian, Momar, the king Martian, Kimar, the little girl Martian, Gimar, or Gurmar, and the little boy Martian, Bomar. Yes, boy Martian, Bomar, king Martian, Kimar. Yeah, I mean, you get how they came up with the names. They're not too creative. They are all dressed in green, these green tights, and it's not Speedos, but it's something that shouldn't be worn out in public, in my opinion. Their faces are painted green. Some of the guys have mustaches, which kind of look odd in this, to be perfectly honest. And I'm a fan of facial hair. If you've watched YouTube videos, I think that's pretty clear. But I'm not gonna blame them for that. It was the '60s. So the plot of this movie is that Bomar and Gurmar, or Gimar, the little boy and little girl Martians, are able to see Earth shows. So they see an advertisement or a news thing that has Santa Claus on it. And they see what Santa Claus can do, because in this movie they are seeing the Santa. It's not one of his helpers. It's not a mall Santa, anything like that. It is the main guy. And so that's what they want. They want Christmas. Now on Mars, they've never had Christmas. They've never really even cared for children. It's supposed to be, you're born, you study, you work, you become an adult. These two kids, though, they want to change that. And their dad, the king, is more than willing to help them out. So he sends out a crew to go to Earth, which is very easy, come to find out. You can just hop in your ship, fly straight to Earth, no problem. And they go to try to find Santa. Of course, they find all the mall Santas and all the Santa's helpers first, but with the help of a little boy and little girl they find on Earth, they find out that Santa lives in the North Pole, and somehow they take them straight to him. The geography in this movie, both interstellarly and geographically, as in, actual on Earth, is very confusing. I'm not sure the exact distance from Earth to Mars, but like I said, they get from one to the other very quickly in a rocket ship that I think is the tube that you get inside paper towels. I think it's one of those, or a couple of those taped together with streamers at the end. I think that is their actual rocket ship, not just for the movie. I think that's what aliens actually use, and it works perfectly because they get here in no time, like I said. But then once they get to the kids, they're able to get to the North Pole also in little to no time. Now, unlike some of the other movies I reviewed, such as Little Shop of Horrors, where or Thanksgiving, where cops, nobody is alerted to anything like that, the world is actually worried in this film. They want to know where the little boy and little girl went. They want to know why Santa Claus is being kidnapped by Martians. There is news coverage. There are people out there trying to figure this out, trying to, save the day. But of course, it doesn't work that easily. It wouldn't make for a good movie if it didn't. No, the aliens, they get Santa back to Mars and they put him to work in a toy factory. Now, what's confusing about Mars? Okay, let me break this down between the scenes done in Mars and the scenes done on Earth. All the scenes done on Earth are a very typical 1960s film. Like I said, you got the little boy, you got the little girl. They're all nice, and if they've ever done anything wrong, it's something we would laugh at nowadays. I'm sure it was terrible back then, though. But they're just very clean cut kids. But all of it's filmed very realistically for a movie like this. To be perfectly honest, for a movie to have such low ratings, it's filmed like I would, look at any film or any TV show from the 1960s. I mean, the dialogue is pretty spot on for its time. I mean, it's not great. It's not, the most believable, speaking, but it's there, and it doesn't take you out of it. It doesn't feel like they're reading from a script or anything like that. It feels like, a movie. Then you get to Mars, and that's when the creativity ends. I already told you about the names, so you have like the King Martian, King Mar, things like that. But everything that the Martians talk about, and I understand why they speak in English. You don't want to have to come up with a Martian language in the 1960s and worry about subtitles and things like that, especially since this is a family film. It's made for kids. It was made for the Christmas season. You don't want to get rid of your key demographic right there. So they don't come up with a language, but they also don't come up with anything else. The Martians call Mars, Mars. The Martians call Earth, Earth. There's no name for Mars that, would be what a Martian would call it. But I can get past that. I can get past that a little bit. What they eat, though, is basically jelly beans. They look like jelly beans. There's no way these are not jelly beans. I think they call them pills or capsules in the film. And they call them regular Earth things. Like you have buttered asparagus, you have cheeseburger, you have chocolate ice cream, and these little jelly beans. I mean, they could have come up with something original, some, Chibo, or I can't think of anything for buttered asparagus that's boo aspar, I guess, and then chakri for chocolate ice cream. I don't know, take it or leave it. Also, the years and things like that, the stuff that I know most people won't notice, but a year on Earth is not the same as a year on Mars. And they have these world clocks in the spaceship that kind of indicate that, but not precisely, because the Earth clock has, 1 through 12 on it, your normal hours, and then you get to Mars and Jupiter clocks where it all of a sudden goes to months. So I'm not sure who did their research on that. Why even have the clocks? I don't know. But we're on Mars, and the Martians want Santa to make toys. And he makes them regular toys. Balls, bats, baseballs, things like that. Dolls, cars. But the children of Mars shouldn't know what these things are, besides what they may have seen on TV, or, the little bit that they're allowed to watch. Something like baseball, though, if you're watching it and you've never seen it before, it doesn't make any sense, that you have to explain rules, but there's no explanation on here. But Santa makes these toys no problem. Santa's actually very happy to be doing this for the Martians. He doesn't seem to realize that he's been kidnapped. Stockholm Syndrome sets in very quickly for him. The kids are more interested in getting back to Earth than he is. And the kids, they associate that they're wanting to leave more with being homesick than actually being kidnapped. So this keeps going on, though, and one of the aliens doesn't care for Santa. And so he has his little group of Three Stooges type characters who want to get rid of Santa. And the only way to do this in a family-friendly movie is to make Santa mess up with the toys. So they go in there, they tinker with the machine that makes the toys, and they're going to leave, but lo and behold, one of the aliens that's a huge fan of Santa finds one of Santa's extra outfits that somehow he managed to bring while being kidnapped, and a fake beard, which is never explained because this Santa has a real beard like the real Santa does. And so he comes into the toy factory, still green, still looking like an alien, but with a fake beard and a Santa suit on. The three guys who are trying to go against Santa see him, they attack him, kidnap him to bring him to a cave. It's as convoluted as it sounds. I'm explaining it exactly the way it goes on. You still need to see the film. But it's not going to make any more sense than what I'm explaining. I just going to go ahead and warn you that. Um, but that all gets messed up. Of course, Santa finds out. Santa figures it out very quickly that they've kidnapped the wrong guy. And a fight breaks out between aliens. And it's if you're familiar with the 1960s Batman style of fighting, and you like that, then you are going to love alien fighting because it is very pow, zing, what have you there. I'll try to find a clip of that to put on the YouTube video also. No promises on those. But find us on YouTube. Find us go to atomicrocketstudios.com/shows. Go to B-Movie Sundays, and there's a link right to the YouTube page there. And watch us, give us a little thumbs up, subscribe, let us know you like us. But back to the movie here. When this happens, when after the fight is done and all that, Santa decides it's time to go home. And at first the aliens are like, no, we need you here, Santa. You need to be our Santa and help us bring toys. And Santa's like, no, you have the perfect Santa right here. You have somebody who is made for this job. He has the fire in his belly, the passion in his eyes. He can be Santa. So our Santa goes back to Earth. And I presume that alien Santa takes over the toy shop and everything goes fine there. Don't know. But our Santa goes back to Earth with the kids and everything's okay. In the 60s, I guess people weren't as worried about aliens as the History Channel is nowadays, because the kids and Santa get back to Earth and everything goes back to normal. And it makes for a really actual fun film. I mean, it's great for kids. I would let a kid any age watch this. There's nothing that's going to be very scary. I mean, the aliens are goofy looking. In one of the first scenes when we see the aliens, the king alien is waking up one of his lackeys with a tickle ray. Yeah, you heard me. A tickle ray. It looks like a cow prod, and you think that he's going to electrocute him or something to get him up, but it starts tickling him supersonically or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. There's a lot of laughing in this film. In case you forget that it's a comedy, there's a lot of laughing, and Santa's laugh is kind of creepy. My personal opinion, though, I'll let you be a judge of that. Write us a comment on the YouTube page or send me an email. Let me know what you thought of Santa's maniacal laughing. But it's a great film. 3 stars, 3 out of 5 stars, and I guarantee if you watch it, you'll like it. I'm not going to guarantee you'll love it. Watch it on Hulu. Watch it on Amazon Prime. Again, not one I would recommend buying unless you just have to have every bad film on DVD, which I personally have to, but my wife, she's going to put the kibosh on that real quickly if I wanted to spend money on this. But I think you'll enjoy it. It's done not in Technicolor, but it's not in black and white. Your eyes do take a minute to get adjusted to what you're looking at, but again, 1960s. I'm not going to hold them to the same standard which some of the other reviewers I've seen online seem to be holding them. It's ranked as one of the worst movies of all time on IMDb. It's constantly in the bottom 100 films. Some people have said it's so good it's bad. It's so bad it's good, and I can almost get on that boat. But I think it actually is good. I mean, it's got a good message to it. It's got it's a Christmas movie, so it's going to have a happy ending from the beginning. And you kind of figure out what's going to happen once you see the other alien put on Santa's outfit. But it's fun to watch. I have a 2-year-old, and I would gladly sit her and watch it. I don't think she would be scared of the aliens at all. I don't think she'd find them as cheesy as I do, but I don't think she would be scared. I wouldn't give her nightmares. And if, everybody can gauge it on their own though. But go to Hulu, search Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, or go to Amazon Prime and search for the same thing and watch it, enjoy it, get a good laugh out of it, because it is a funny movie. It's not just funny cheesy. It's actually got some funny bits into it, especially the way that Santa's trapped in certain points and he has to get out, and he uses his Santa magic, which, because they didn't have the special effects they do now, it's kind of implied magic. So it's fun. It's a fun movie. I can't state that enough, and I think I already have. 3 out of 5 stars, like I've said. I'm putting it towards the top of my list for movies to watch every year, and I recommend you do the same thing. Now, next week's episode is going to take me about 8 days to do. Now, I don't mean that literally. I mean that as kind of a clue. I'm going to be doing an animated movie, but I'm not going to give away the title of it yet. If you're familiar with animated movies that have the number 8 in it, you've already figured it out, though. It's an Adam Sandler movie. It is a grown-up cartoon, but of course I'll keep my podcast and my review clean. It's one of the lower Adam Sandler movies, but I'm looking forward to seeing all you fine folks then. Remember, you can subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, whatever podcast program you use on your iPhone or your Android device. You can watch us on YouTube. You can go to atomicrocketstudios.com/shows, find B-Movie Sunday, and all the information is right there. You can email me any suggestions, questions, comments you might have at bmoviesundaypodcast@gmail.com. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/bmoviesundaypodcast. Find Atomic Rocket Studios with their other amazing podcast on Facebook also, facebook.com/Atomic Rocket Studios. And if you want to follow me personally for any reason, on Twitter, I am twitter.com/Geekulele. That's GEEKULELE. I'm always open for suggestions on bad films. I know a ton of them, but I also know there's a ton that I haven't seen or heard of. So I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you all next week. Enjoy the movies.
Oh, we meet again, eh?
I don't know how you escape Shim, but you won't escape me. You're through.
Well, why don't you, relax?
You're going to relax permanently.